Good morning. It's Mike at Cross Country Mortgage, and it's time for your Monday morning mortgage update for the week of February the 5th. Hope you all had a great weekend. I had a wonderful weekend. Did some skiing. We got a snow dump in the mountains, which was wonderful, and cooked clam chowder at the One Safe Place annual crab feed. We served over 1,200 people chowder. I'm part of Anderson Rotary. We do this every year. It's a great cause. We volunteer our time. So it's a great cause. One Safe Place. Support it. So what are we looking at in the market? I always try to give you information, tools, tips, tactics, the information that you can use to go out and talk to your buyers and sellers and be more impactful in those conversations. Weed through all the misinformation and the fear that's out there. So we talk about what happened last week and what's going to happen this week. So last week, if you would have got a rate quote on Monday and you would have looked at a rate quote on Friday, it would have been the same. There was no change in interest rates. Even though there was a ton of volatility in the middle, no change. Two things happened last week. Jerome Powell came out with his press conference after the Fed meeting. That was a big thing. And they gave an idea of what's going to happen in the economy moving forward. And he was pretty flat about it. He said, things are not bad, but they're not good. We're probably going to cut rates, indicated cut rates middle of the year. And the bond market and investors and everybody just said, okay, that's pretty much what he's been saying over the last couple months. No change. On Friday, we got the jobs numbers that came out that said a ton of jobs are added. Nobody believes it. They think the information is false. However, it did move the market negatively and rates went up a little bit. But again, flat for the week. So what are we looking at this week? We're looking at Fed members and what they're going to say. And we're looking at debt and data. So now that the meeting's over, all the Fed members come out this week, give all their opinions on the economy. And the first one to start this was Jerome Powell. He had an interview on 60 Minutes Sunday, and he came out actually hawkish, a little bit different tone than he had on Wednesday, and said, hey, the economy's not doing well. We need more confidence the economy's doing well. We're not going to cut rates in March, and we don't know if we're going to cut rates middle of the year. And the bond market reacted to that today, and I'll show you what that looks like. And the Fed members, are they going to say in their interviews and their press conferences this week the same thing, or are they going to shift in the message that Jerome Powell came out with on Sunday? I want to show you a graph that gives you some insight about the strength of our economy, at least one part of it, and that's the one part that you and I are all involved in, and that's housing. And, I always say that when you talk to your buyers and you do your buyer presentations, even your seller presentations, data is key. If you want to earn the trust of that client, of that buyer or the seller, you've got to give them information that's going to weed through the junk, right? And overcome their obstacles and their fears and their concerns. And this is a great chart to use. And what it shows is the change in home values in a 10-year span, going back to 1942 and recently 2014. Of course, we don't have the numbers for 2025 yet. So as you can see, if we use $100,000 value or price, you can see that every single year somebody's bought a house since 1942, in a 10-year period, they've had an increase in the value of their home. This is very impactful. I always tell people, if you're going to buy a house and try to sell it in a year or two, it's going to be tough to earn a profit or make money off it unless you buy something just really, really below market value. But if you're going to be in that house for 4 or 5 years or longer, that value is going to be there. You're going to raise to get equity out of that house and get a very, very strong return on your investment. You can see that the only time that somebody hasn't earned a positive return on their investment since in a 10-year period was back in 2006, which was the beginning of the big housing crisis, the Great Recession, where we know that home values depreciated anywhere from 40 to 50%. So again, this is a great visual aid to use when you're doing your buyer presentations and your seller presentations. If you need this co-marketed or with your information on it, just let me know, give me a call, send me an email. I can get this chart to you. So let's also talk about the next thing that's going to move the market, and that's debt and data. And so the U.S. Treasury always sells debt. They have to raise money, and they sell it in the form of notes and bonds, and they're going to have their note and bond auctions this week. They do them throughout each month. And if there's an appetite for that debt by investors and bond traders, et cetera, then that's good for rates. So we'll be watching that this week. And then data, two things coming out that could move the market: manufacturing news. We've been in a manufacturing recession for a long time, which means businesses aren't making stuff as strongly as they should, and that's a sign that the economy isn't showing a sign of strength, that it's weaker. And then consumer debt. We know that consumer debt is over $1 trillion. It's the highest it's ever been. The last number that came out last month said, hey, consumers are using their debt to buy stuff, and that's good for the economy. But that was for the holidays. Now, are they going to be using their debt to buy or to live a lifestyle, to pay their bills? So we'll be looking at that consumer numbers very closely. I want to show you the impact that we've seen in the market just in the last couple of days. We've seen a big sell-off on Friday over the right here because of the jobs numbers, and then a big sell-off today because of what Jerome Powell said on Sunday. But put this in perspective. The highest the rates have been in years, it was over 8%, was the end of October, and we've definitely seen the rates improve since then. So think about interest rates going down, moving forward. We know rates go up and down, and there's definitely a movement for rates going down. It's like skiing down a ski hill. The rates are going to go down, but we're going to hit some bumps, some moguls along the way. And what's happened over the last 2 days is just a mogul, right? We'll get over it. The rates are going to recover. The market's going to recover. But the overall message that we want to send our clients is that it's a great time to buy. We can't control rates. Affordability is getting better. And moving forward, buying a house is a great investment. So if you have any questions about rates on the market, go ahead and give me a call. Send me an email. If you have any comments about this video, I'd love to hear it. If you know somebody can benefit, please forward it to them. Have a great productive week. And one more thing, I'm doing a 60-second market summary every Friday morning. So look for that in your inbox, coming out every Friday morning, a 60-second market summary, so that you can have some tools and some information when you go into the weekend. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.